Welcome to What's the Effort?
What the F?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. All right. So everybody knows that I've been told my intro and my outro are way too long. And for once, I'm grateful that it was that long because I was like rushing like crazy just to get in here. So my apologies. But I want to say thank you, April. Thank you, sweetheart. So good to see you.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I was a little bit late today, but I'm excited to be on. Thank you so much for having me.
Are you kidding? It is my honor, and I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for attending because April is the real deal. I am so happy that I got the opportunity to have her as my guest. So thank you.
Yes.
Now, for those of you who may not know, April has been around since almost the very beginning, right, April?
I don't know if it's me or you, but the internet's a little bit spotty. Am I coming through clear?
You are now. When you first, sat down, not so much.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I can't.
Tell us.
You're cutting out on me.
Okay. Am I cutting out to you guys? Oh,
Oh,
Ralph says
so Ralph says he can hear us both fine. Okay. Well,
that's
that's great. There you go. Did you ask me when I joined Sub 2?
I did.
Okay, so I actually joined Sub 2 back when it first started, back in I want to say May of 2020.
Wow. That is 2 entire years before me.
Oh wow.
I
Yeah,
know.
I
I
was one
started.
of the I happened to find Pace on he did his first 24-hour live, and I remember my husband turned it on and I was like, I can't watch this right now. I'm like super focused on, wholesaling. I don't want to hear anything else. But like hour after hour after hour after hour of listening to him on the TV, because my husband literally was like up all night, I finally was like, this guy's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, he's doing this cool thing where, he's, on here for 24 hours, like giving everything away. Like, how cool is that? And at the time he was about to launch his mentorship. So by the end of the 24 hours, I knew for sure that I had to join.
Nice. So that was the moment you knew. But what made you decide to pursue real estate, especially during the pandemic?
So I actually didn't. I guess I was one of those people that like had my head in the sand because, I just remember, like my husband's dad, who's, in his late 80s, is like, oh, there's some virus coming from China. I'm like, what? No way. And didn't think about it again after that. Right. So really, it wasn't on purpose that I started during the pandemic. My husband and I were looking to, start a business. We knew that we wanted to run our own business, and we were kind of looking through business brokers and trying to figure out. And then one of our friends had mentioned this wholesaling thing. And so we started looking into it. We were like, we love this. That you can really start from the ground up with little to no money and, get into real estate. Let's check it out. So we had
Where did,
started doing our, go ahead.
tell me where you were coming from.
Okay. Well, I actually at that point was coming from being a stay-at-home mom for a couple years. I When I graduated college, I was in finance for a long time. I'm from the New Jersey area. I was working in Center City, Philadelphia, for a big financial firm. And the financial firm, actually, I got promoted several times, and I ended up here in Jacksonville covering the north area of Florida. selling financial products. And so I ended up here in Jacksonville and I absolutely loved it. I ended up retiring from, I like to say retiring because I left the company. I was just not into the finance. I mean, I was in finance like during the 2008, all that. So I think I'm really good at getting in when when crap's hitting the fan. I don't know if we're allowed to curse on here, but that's when
Oh,
I
you
got
effing are.
in
It's what
finance.
the effing. Come on
Yeah,
now.
right.
And I was swearing just before we came on.
All right. You're like, where is she? Why doesn't my thing work? Where's the lie?
We're good. We are so
uh,
good.
excuse me. So after that, I like to say I retired. And then I bought a restaurant because I thought, I love being a waitress when I was in college. Why not buy a restaurant?
Oh
And it
my
was
God.
great. And honestly, I mean, it was. And the restaurant's still open to this day. I ended up selling it, and after I had my son, I realized those weren't the hours that I wanted to work. You just have to put a lot of time and effort into it, and you're
Mhm.
working nights and weekends.
Yeah.
And so I decided that that wasn't for me, and I sold my restaurant. And at that point in time, I just was staying home with my kids. Well, I had one son at the time. Now I have four. 9 years later, I have four kids, but at the time I had
Wow.
one. So I was
Us.
I was a stay-at-home mom. I had right after that I had my daughter. Then I had another daughter. So I had three kids basically in 3 years. And I was like, I definitely am ready to go back to work after I had my third daughter. I was like, this stay-at-home stuff, mom stuff is way harder than working. I'm
Isn't that
telling
the
you,
truth?
stay-at-home moms are the
Yep.
bomb.com because man, it's tough. But um anyway, so
I
that's
like
kind
that. The
of
stay-at-home
where
moms are the
we're entrepreneur. I have an entrepreneur mindset. I really did not want to go back into the corporate world and work for somebody else. I just did not have the stomach for it. I'd gotten out of it and didn't want to go back into it. And that's kind of where the real
Mhm.
estate stuff came in.
So tell me, in the first year of wholesaling, what kind of challenges, or can you name a specific challenge you had to face and overcome?
Oh my goodness. Getting into real estate?
Yeah, into wholesaling, because
Yes.
now you had joined, sub two, and you had the instructions. You were out there, cold calling and such. Give us one specific challenge that you faced in that first year, and tell us how you.
Oh, the first year, guys, the first year is definitely the hardest. Not only because there's a huge learning curve, but also because it's hard, right? So I would say that wholesaling real estate is a simple task, but it's not easy. There's a difference between simple and easy. I heard somebody say that once, right?
Mhm.
So it's learning to do one thing over and over and over and over and over again until you get so bored that you want to lose your mind, right? But that's how you get really good at it, and that's how you see results. And I
Was that
don't
the
think that
hardest thing
I'm.
for you? Was that the
I'm
hardest
sorry.
challenge? Was that the hardest
So
challenge?
that's what I was gonna say is yes. I mean, the consistency and the persistency, we were cold calling 5 hours a day, 5 to 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was hard, right? Like these VAs that are calling 8 hour days, like I know how they feel. It is a hard thing to sit on a phone and just dial and dial and dial and say the same thing over and over, have people hang up on you. I think the the rejection, right, is a huge part of getting into this business and learning how to take the rejection. I mean, I like to say it was blood, sweat, and tears because there was a lot of tears and it was definitely really, really hard to keep going. And we did that for about 4 months until we got our first deal,
So did
which
both
four
of you do
months
it?
isn't even. We did. I mostly did it. We figured out pretty quick that I was the better one on the phone. And, my husband's great on the phone, but, something about, I guess, talking to a female, they don't hang up on you as fast. And so I was pretty much the one that took front and center there. And working with your husband. So my husband and I, we do work together, and we were still trying to figure out our roles, right? Like now we kind of have our roles figured out, but that took some time. And there was some pushback, back and forth. And, sometimes I'd be like, why do I have to be the one making all the calls, but I did. He did help some, and he definitely helped with the kids because our kids were really little at the time.
Right. Right. And they don't understand. So, yep.
So it's really
Completely.
getting over your mindset, right? Yourself. This whole entire thing is all about having the right mindset. I mean, even now, I think that is going to be everybody's biggest obstacle is themselves. And
You
being able to tell yourself every day just to keep going and keep going
keep
and
going.
keep going, that this will work no matter
Have,
what.
do you think that your mindset has evolved from the beginning of the real estate journey to where you are now?
I think so. So, I definitely have taken a lot of mindset classes. I think that, I've had to change some of the ways that I think. But I mean, Effie, even today, like in the car for a minute, I started to think like, should I really do this? We're working on a really big deal, and like, am I even the right person for this? Do I even deserve this?
Oh,
Those things creep up in your mind. Even
mhm.
some of the most successful people,
Yeah.
you don't know this, but it does,
Yeah.
right? And so I think it's more of like I get over it faster than
You've been there because you've
necessarily
been there before. You've
changing.
seen it. It's like, oh, here it comes again. The doubt. Here it comes. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Oh, yeah, I saw that 2 years ago. Keep going.
Yeah.
Nice. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
And what about setbacks? How do you view them now?
Say that last part again. The part cut out.
Setbacks, being, things not working out. How do you view them at this time? Because at the beginning, you may have viewed them, or some, maybe not you, maybe others would have seen it as a sign. This isn't for me, you know. But now when you see setbacks, how do you see them?
Yeah. So this business, I feel like, is always going to be two steps forward, one step back, right? But as long as you know that you're always making progress,
Mm-hmm.
and then at some point, you're going to start hitting a stride, right? And so I think that you you just it's funny because I was thinking about this today, like, when you lose out on a deal, how long do you sit in that? When you lose money, because there's a lot of people that lose money in this
Oh,
business, like maybe
yes.
can you hear me?
Yes. And I heard
Okay.
you clearly. Yes, people lose money in this business.
Yes. But in my mind, I just try to keep going forward. So when you're first starting out, it might not be that you're losing money, right? It might be that you're just getting rejected over and over and over and over again. But instead of thinking about like, oh, that's another person that said no, the thought is every single no is one more step to a yes, right? So the
Yeah,
more no's that I accumulate means that there's a yes somewhere on the other side of it.
absolutely.
And so it's just kind of like I posted this thing on my Instagram the other day that it said like some days I swear I'm going to give up, some days I swear I never will, some days I swear, but I just keep going. And that's really what
And
you
I
have to.
say, why the F and not? I swear, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, talk to me about the role of community. You've had Sub Two as your community. Have you had others, in your where you to get to where you are now? and you're building your own community, and I'd like to talk about that a little bit too.
Okay, so so for some reason you're cutting out for me. I know everybody said that you're not. So I think that you said, do I have community here where I live?
I said, what role, how does community
Oh,
work out for
yes.
you in regards to your growth and success?
It's
And
everything.
I was
Yes.
also asking, besides Sub 2, what other communities are you in? And then I added that I know you're starting your own community, and I'd like to talk about that as well.
Yes. Thank you. So, I mean, I can tell you community is everything. It really is. I mean, you can do this alone, but why would you want to? There's just so much out there, and you really need an army behind you, cheering you on and helping you. I always say this. I'm like, okay, so it's like I need my gym friends to encourage me to go to the gym, right? I need my church friends to encourage me to go to church and encourage me in my spiritual life. And I need my real estate friends to encourage me in real estate and to keep me going. And so, I mean, in every aspect of my life, I try to find community, people that are going to encourage me and keep me going. And I would even say that, you know, even like, even if you just go to like a local meetup and you just go every single month, you are going to find that your business grows exponentially, right? And I think most people that are watching this, maybe some are, maybe some aren't, are in Sub 2, can say that if you utilize the community, your business will just explode. And that's really what happened to me, because I was cold calling and I was in a mentorship that really didn't like thrive. Like it didn't really like do community. Like they tried, but it wasn't great. I mean, no one does community like Pace.
That's true.
But excuse me. But once I joined Pace's group, I suddenly had 100 friends.
Nice.
And we were all together in the same spot and all elevating each other. Now I have, what is it, like 15,000 friends? I know that if I have a deal in Maine or Oregon or Idaho, I have a community there that I can go to for help. And one of the things that I've done and that everybody can do is you can become the expert in your own community, right? So everybody like that I meet, I'm Jacksonville, Florida. Send me your deals. Send me deals in Jacksonville, Florida. Um, I'll dispo deals. I'll work on deals with you. I fix and flip. Send me deals in Jacksonville, Florida. So we do have a sweet community here in Jacksonville, Florida. That's like our local real estate community. I don't like it as much as I like Sub 2. But we do have a really cool real estate community here that I am a part of that's outside of Sub 2. And I also have been a Sub 2 community leader. And so I have met so many people that like are now a part of my business that we do deals together and they're my best friends.
Nice.
We go to each other's kids' birthday parties, we hang out on the weekends. I mean, it's just I don't I would say like don't do this without a community.
I think that it would be much, much harder. No
Yes.
doubt about it. And there is no doubt about it. Just as it would be even harder if we were trying to do this without creative financing. So, can you explain how creative financing has changed the way that you approach deals compared to traditional wholesaling?
Yes. So this actually I have a really cool story about that. But and it goes right back to when I first started wholesaling. That I started just with traditional cash, wholesaling. Like I'm going to buy these properties cash. And when I started listening to Pace online, we hadn't even joined his mentorship yet. I got this idea in my head about creative finance. And my very first deal ended up being the Sub 2 flip that I wholesaled. And I was
Nice.
sitting in a room with a couple, and it was his mother's house, and they were moving her out. And really, they were showing the house, trying to figure out how much money they were going to have to come to the table because she owed more than what the property was worth. Not by a lot, but by a couple thousand, which was a lot for these people. They were going to have to, come to the table with $4,000. And me, I didn't even really know what I was doing. But I said, in my mind, I heard pace from watching those videos. And I said, what if I bought the house with the mortgage still on it? I paid your mortgage while I was flipping it. And then when I sold it at the end, I'll pay your mortgage off. And to do all that, I'll give you $1,000. And they were like, what?
Whoa.
Are you kidding me? I mean, they loved me. And that was my first deal. So I had
Wow.
done all this cold calling, and I actually found this deal on Facebook. They happen to seller on there. So it wasn't even the cold calling. So I'm telling you, it doesn't even matter if you are cold calling, obviously you stick with it, right? But like when you're putting yourself out there and you're joining communities and you're listening, like deals like start to come to you, right? So that's what was really cool about this deal. But we did get a lot of a lot of deals from our cold calling. It just was funny that this deal came from me listening to Pace, and I made a $3,000 assignment fee, and it felt like $1,000,000.
Oh,
So
and you
by the
solved
end,
the problem, a real problem.
exactly, and they thought that that was the best thing ever. And so it was really cool. I love that that was my first deal. Um, and so this is what's interesting. So by the end of the year, I had done, I like to say just over 40 deals, but one of them was a 14 house portfolio. So it was probably really in the 20s,
Wow.
which is still a lot for your first year.
Hmm.
But when I went back and I counted how many were creative and how many were cash, most of them were cash. But what happened is that I got a lot of those cash properties because I was also giving them options for creative. And I think and that doesn't just work, in 2020. It works today.
Yeah.
We still even we'll say, look, this is what our cash price is, and this is what a creative finance offer looks like. And we let the seller choose, right? And a lot of times
Yep.
they're going to choose the cash option, which is totally fine, but sometimes they can't, right? They have to choose the creative option. But it's giving them both. So I found that more of my deals were cash, but I got at least 40% more deals because I was also doing creative.
I love it. I love it because not only is it bringing more deals in your business, but more than anything, those people probably need the help the most.
Yes. Yes, and that's the thing, with this, creative finance stuff is that you are solving problems and helping sellers. I've never done a creative finance deal where the seller didn't walk away extremely happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, can you talk a little bit about building relationships? What strategies do you use to build and to maintain and grow relationships with sellers and then also other investors?
Yeah, of course. I think when with sellers, it's just being completely honest and upfront. I try to be myself and let people know exactly how it is, who I am, what's going on. I don't ever try to convince somebody to do something that they don't want to. Really, it's funny because I heard somebody talking the other day that real estate is not actually about real estate. It's not about the houses. It's not about the price. It's about solving problems. And so you have to ask a million questions to find out what the real problem is because we know buyers are liars, but sellers are worse. And so that's really what it is. Hold on one second, my baby. Hey, Barb, I need you to get James. Barb? Sorry, my babe's like found me and he's crying back there.
Let me
Um,
in there.
Buyers are liars, but sellers are worse. And so it's really about getting to what the real issue is and trying to help solve that problem. Think I just read Mary's comment that I give off an authentic vibe. I really appreciate that.
Totally. It's one of the reasons I
And so
was
that's
so
kind
excited.
of, where it's at. I don't, I try to just ask questions and let people know exactly how it is. You have to put yourself in the frame of mind that you are the buyer. And once you do that, you can build a little bit more confidence in coming in and trying to solve the problem. If you come in thinking that, you want to close a deal, then that's never going to happen. You need to come in focused on solving whatever problem it is that they have, and whether that problem is going to be solved with a cash deal, a novation, a seller finance, or a sub two, you don't know. But that's really how you establish that relationship with the seller and build that rapport.
So,
Now, go ahead.
April, I'm curious when you're speaking with, potential sellers, you know that they have an issue there on the foreclosure list or whatever list you got them from. Do you let them know that you're a wholesaler, or does it come up, or do you just say, I'm the buyer? How do you handle that part?
I say I'm a buyer because a lot of times I am. I buy a lot. I mean, I am a buyer. So I'm not lying when I say I'm a buyer. So I approach every deal pretty much, I want to, if I would buy this deal, then I know somebody else would buy it. Now I know we all have different, buy boxes. So for instance, like let's say it's a zip code that I'm not buying in. I still feel confident saying I'm a buyer because I'm going to give them the same offer that I would give to someone else, right? Now, if we are talking about a seller finance or a sub two and we're wholesaling it, I usually will introduce the end buyer as the person that's going to be the point of contact that's handling the deal. They're the one, their name's going to be on it. I'm just the acquisition person. So
Okay.
I don't ever
And then
really
you
say
position
like I'm a
yourself.
wholesaler.
Yeah, but in that case, then you position yourself as the acquisitions end of a team.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good idea. Good idea. And what do you do if someone has said not interested, not interested, not interested? You just let them go, or do you put them on a clock where you check back in?
So we have drip campaigns. I think the secret sauce is in the follow up that we say, follow up till they, till they die, or and it goes to their air and still follow up, right? Or, if they tell us not to text them anymore, then we won't text them anymore. Sometimes we'll, still call them though, just depending on, and now if they say don't ever call me again, we won't. But I'll tell you, I mentioned my 14 property. I did a 14 property portfolio once where I made an $80,000 assignment fee, which was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
that guy, it was funny because when we first started calling him, he really did. He got real mad because he had people calling him all the time. He had these cool properties here, and they were in low income areas, but he kept them really nice and had great tenants and really high rent. So it was good, right? So he had all these people calling him all the time, and he told me to F off, like cursed in my ear, didn't want to hear me. So of course we put him on our do not call list. And but some way, somehow, another property and I guess another phone number got slipped into our CRM. And we happened to call him again. And when we called him again, it was probably like 6 months later. So we had him on our do not call, ended up coming on our list 6 months later. And we caught him at a time right after one of his best friends had died, and his best friend had died with like 20 properties, and his kids didn't want
Oh,
anything to do with it. And so they were having to like fire sale all of them. And he was just like, I don't want to deal with that. My kids don't want these properties. I'm ready to retire. I want to go live my life. Like his best friend had just died, right? It's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm ready to sell all my properties. And we created an amazing relationship. I actually bought one of his properties with seller
Nice.
finance, and
Oh,
I sold 14 of them, bought one for myself. He sold it to the 14 were cash. He sold me one seller finance. And I mean, he used to email me and talk to me all the time. So, you never know. Somebody could just be having a bad day. You do have to put people on your do not call list if they ask you to, right? However, if they don't, you just got to keep calling. You never know what people are going through. And so
yeah,
you can't take offense, and you just have to keep calling and keep calling and keep calling and keep calling. Real estate lead, like these leads, these wholesale leads, right? They're like little pieces of gold. You just never want to give them up. Always keep them in your CRM and always keep them in some sort of follow up sequence.
nice, nice. Um, I'm interested in knowing about time management. How do you balance time between your family, business, personal development, you know,
Yeah.
and eating and bathing, Talk about time
Exactly. I know,
management for a
right?
moment. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I have a routine. My kids are all in school. My baby is in a little school now. He's 18 months, so we just put him in a little school. Before that we had a nanny, but we I just have a routine, and I try to stick to my routine. When I first started, the calendar management happened every night, right? Like I would sit down and I would figure out what my day looked like the next day. Now we kind of do weekly, right? Because at the beginning of the week, okay, what does my calendar look like this week? And things pop up during the week that happen. You kind of have to have some places where you can have some flexibility, but I have my routine. Every morning we get up, like we're up at 6, the kids get off to school around 7:30. I head right to the gym. I go to the gym every single day, every day, Monday through Friday. I do not miss
Nice.
the gym. It's my favorite part of the day, to be honest, because it's just one day
Wow.
where I think about nothing but just what's in front of me, right? Um, and I have my friends there, so we get to kind of hang out and chit chat. So I do that, and then I come home and I get after it. And I usually am depending on what I'm doing that day, I'm either filming. Like today I did filming, right? So I went right out and we did filming with my social media team, and then I come back and I've got some team stuff that I need to take care of with my team, and then right after that we have this Zoom. So my calendar will kind of dictate. So my calendar runs usually between like 9:30 and 5, and that's really my time that I work. My kids come home from school around 3:30, and we have a nanny here. And then at 5 o'clock, I go in and I start cooking dinner, and it's just family time. And if I need to do extra work, I wait until they go to bed, and I'll get the work done after that. And then for the most part, the
Wow.
weekends. Are you there?
I'm here. I'm just
Yeah.
impressed that you've actually got it so that it's a normal type of life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I try, it's like on the weekends and sometimes at night, I do meetups. So I put those things on the calendar. I try to not be home at night as much as possible because my kids are little and my baby is little, and he just really wants his mama. So I try to be there for them, like in the mornings and in the evenings and on the weekends, because I don't want to miss that time with them.
Yeah.
And also, in the summertime when they're not in school, we'll just take them places. We'll take them, with us to the properties, or, they're sitting in there right now listening to me being on this Zoom. I mean, they know that I'm home. I love that I even get to be home, even if I'm sitting in here, and they can hear me, right? And they can hear me talking, and they know what I'm doing. So I try to do a balance. I don't necessarily know if there is a balance. I definitely am exhausted on the weekends. I'm like, why am I so tired? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I have 4 kids and I
You've
run
done
this
so much.
business and I'm doing all these things. But it's also very life-giving, and I am just happy to wake up every day and do it. And so it's not draining to me. Sure, I get
Right.
physically tired, but I don't get mentally tired a lot just because I love what I do so much.
And here they are. You guys really are a beautiful family.
Thank you. Yes, there they are.
Very, very nice. Yeah. So cool. So cool. Talk to me a little bit about, or us a little bit about social media. You have a team, huh? Tell us about that. How did you get to a team and all?
So yeah, I it's funny because Pace had encouraged us excuse me, encouraged us to start meetups in our local community. This was again in the very beginning. And I really was just starting my social media journey at the time. And man, I just really sucked at it. I just still suck at it, and I'm trying to get better. And I couldn't do it without them. But I did a meetup and I met a couple that had just joined Sub 2 and they lived here in Jacksonville. And just so happened that they made their living through brand sponsorship through social media. So,
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
really cool. They were in the venture market. So she would get, she however the branding goes, I guess you like write to brands and get contracts and you make videos. They're amazing videographers, they're amazing editors. And I was like, hey guys, I mean, now that you're in this real estate thing, like, would you help me out? Like, I'd pay you. So they really didn't even have a company at the time, but I was on their socials and I saw how talented they were.
Nice.
And they were also just getting into real estate. And they said, yeah, I mean, we'd love to work with you. And this was back in 2020, I want to say 2022 or maybe no, 2021. And I hired them and I've been working with them ever since. They're an amazing team. Now they've built a whole media and they have lots of clients, a lot of clients that are in Sub 2, and they're just extremely talented and they've developed over time. And I really
Nice.
rely on them for their creativity, for their suggestions, for what they learn. And honestly, like if it weren't for, I wouldn't have started a YouTube channel. I mean, I honestly don't, I haven't even been on my own YouTube channel. They
Well, that
started my YouTube channel and I have almost 300 followers because of what they do with my social media. They're amazing. And so, it is a talent. And I think that, if you can do it on your own, that's where you start. But eventually, I highly suggest getting a team because just having someone to like bounce ideas off of as far as creativity and also having your vision of what you want to brand yourself as. And I'm telling you, like, they've helped me so much. I get leads via social media, I get private money via social media, I get, friends via social media. I mean, it's my
nice.
social media ends up becoming my community because I brand myself and they've helped me with that.
April, could you give us your YouTube um, channel? Because I didn't see it come up, and I would like to be able to. And it was probably just because I've been nervous a little bit.
Yes,
Could you drop it for us, and then I can
I sure
highlight it?
can. Let me
And guys,
grab
if you
it real
haven't already
quick.
belonged, then followed. Please do.
Yep.
Wow, that really is slow. Did you drop it?
Oh, well, I'm on YouTube right now, so I can't copy it.
No, I mean, okay. Do you see on the side where it says comments and private chat?
Hold on.
Look at your
I
screen.
can't, I'm
And
sorry. For what I'm actually on Facebook. I'm not
okay.
on
You
YouTube.
want to just read
So
it to me and I'll write it down?
it's April Juliano, April Juliano. Let me see. Hold
Mhm.
on. Um, oh, it's live on mine too, right? Okay.
Yes. But I just was looking for your address because I didn't pick it up. I mean, I'm seeing other interviews that you've gone on, but I'm not seeing your station, and I'd love to see that.
I don't know
And
how to drop. Oh, here, I'll drop it in our private chat.
oh, perfect.
There it is.
Thank you. All right. Here we go. Oops. Nope. Not the way to do it. All right. Here we go, folks. please go and definitely subscribe. And I'm going to put it in here too, so that we can help you get your numbers up. Because I remember what it was like when I had just a few. It was not easy. So definitely get in there and nice, nice. Good job. Good job. All right. Well, thank you for that. And I think it's fantastic that you have a team. That is a great thing to do. I'm still kind of trying to find my way around this stuff and don't really know what I'm doing in social media, but it does grow. And I think that, as you said, it's well worthwhile.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what, Effie, you don't have to have a team. When you're first starting out, I did not. But eventually, if you want to take it to the next level, you definitely
Yeah.
should at least think about hiring somebody to help you.
Yep. Yep. Okay. And let's talk a little bit about, advice for people that are just starting out, new investors. What advice would you give someone that's just starting out in real estate and might feel overwhelmed and not sure really what to do?
Yeah. So, the real estate, again, like going back, is definitely a mindset game. And, the person that you're going to be competing with, I would say, is yourself, right? It's easy to compare what everybody else is doing. I think even, looking at it, just kind of like even looking at the social media, even in your personal life, you could easily start to compare yourself to other people. And it's the same thing when you're first starting out in real estate. Number one, the greatest thing about real estate is that there's a million ways to get into real estate. And that's also the part that's the hardest. There's a million ways to get into real estate. And you want to find your niche, right? Because everybody needs to find that thing and you need to niche it all the way down to become really good at it, right? So, like for me, I picked cold calling and I niched it down to just cold calling. Now, granted, was I doing other things outside of the cold calling, outside of that time? Of course, but my main focus, my number one thing was the cold calling. And I just got really, really, really good at that. Right. And so finding your thing is going to be very important. And it might take a little bit of time to figure that out. I definitely think having a coach and like being in sub two, it can help. But just remember that it can take some time to figure it out what it is that you're going to be doing to find your niche and to make sure that you don't compare yourself to others. Like this is your journey. And no matter what, you can never give up, right? You know the secret, you know what's available to you, you know what's out there. Now, never give up, right? Like you didn't just start with what the Effie, right?
No, I did not. You're
You
right.
probably never even thought that you were going to do a podcast like this, right? But
No,
now
I didn't.
everybody knows you as what the Effie, right? And this has
As a matter
become
of
your
fact,
niche.
I forgot that when I was an ESL teacher, I had to teach in English to students from all over the world how to open a YouTube channel. And I didn't know anything about it. So we had one teacher that said, okay, this is what you're going to do in this. Okay. I'm like, okay, got it. Went in and did it for the class and never went to it again and completely forgot I had it. So when I went and opened What the Appy, some people were saying, what's this dog? Because it was just a little thing of a dog.
Yeah.
What's going on? Where am I? I was like, I don't know. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm just figuring this out too, right?
Yes, it was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
And now I've just decided, gone through the hullabaloo of what happens when you hit 5,000 people in Facebook, because they cap you at 5,000. So I had gone ahead and opened a business page like an idiot. And now I've just finished closing it. And for anyone who is seeing this, I'm capped at 5,000. Now I have
Yeah.
5,500, I think, subscribers, but I finally found the workabout. And that is, yes, I cannot accept you as a friend. I'm sorry. I have 5,000 already, But what I can do is I can DM you. And if I DM you and you respond, now we're connected. And I will see your stuff and you will see my stuff. They count you, but not. I am not. Don't have the pleasure of saying you're my friend. I don't know what the heck.
Oh,
At least they got to
interesting.
work them.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that's called the professional mode. For those of you who are close to 5,000, just you know, um, Google professional mode, and they'll tell you how to turn it on, and your numbers will continue to go up, but only with people that really engage, which in some ways good.
Yeah.
Some ways good. But I'm just learning all this. I mean, opening up a business page was a pain in the butt. Closing it down, not so much, but still, like you
Right.
said, who would have thought that at 70 I'd be like, I've got not too many friends, but according to Facebook, a few too many,
Yeah.
whatever. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, and you just can't let it stop you. Um, oh, yeah, they're finding out what's going on,
It's
and
this.
there's, I know, I know.
Yeah, sorry. I have like a little thing, and with this cold weather, it's got me good.
No worries, no worries at all. No worries.
I'll mute it.
So, can you talk us just a little bit about your future goals? What are your goals in this next year for your real estate business? And please talk about your mentorship. Oh, sorry. Did I
Okay, I
yell?
forgot about that. Yeah. Okay, so I know. Well, you asked and then I started talking and it like lost my mind, lost it. Okay, so I am heavily focused on flipping. I started flipping at the end of 2020 and just kind of have grown that over the years. We bought 37 last year and we are growing that to 50 or 60 this year. If the Lord blesses us. And so that's, I've just kind of like we'll have 18 projects going at one time. I continue to buy. And so I've kind of just like figured it out, right? Like people are like, I don't know how you handle that many projects at a time. I'm just like, I just have it, I have the right people in place. I have the right SOPs. I've got it, a system going, and we just kind of like follow that routine. And last year, I helped a couple people do their first flip. And after I did that, I thought, what is it that keeps people from doing flipping, right? Because here's the thing, like if you're in real estate, then for the most part, you're probably going to flip at some point. If you're a wholesaler, you're going to need to know how to flip because you're going to need to be able to increase your profit margins. Most people don't want to wholesale because that's 7 days a week, many, many, many hours a day. I mean, it is hard and people get into real estate, they don't that's not the route they want to take. The so maybe flipping, right? Because it's just a lot less time, but people have these fears. And or these objections, right? Like I don't have the money, I don't know what to do with contractors, I don't know where to find the leads. And so I came up with this mentorship where I am going to help people flip their first house. So we're going to do it's right here in Jacksonville. I mean, if you want to come to Jacksonville, by all means you can come to Jacksonville, but if you're going to partner with me, the flip has to be in Jacksonville. But we do a one weekend seminar where I give you all my SOPs, show you my systems. It's full immersion. So we actually go to all these flips.
You
We
take
do
them
renovate.
and you take them out to the flips?
Yeah, we come out of the classroom and we go to our flips and we do, blue taping and we do renovation budgets. We meet with our contractors. We're going to do all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And, after that, so it's really kind of a mentorship more than just a seminar. And
Mhm.
then I'm going to teach you how I find my leads for free, right? I find most of my leads for free. And so after that, then you're going to leave, but we're going to do our first flip together, right? So it'll be on the attendee to find the lead, and I'll work with you to find the lead in Jacksonville. And then once we find the lead, then I'll do the financing, I'll hire the contractors, I'll do everything, and I'll just take you with me. And at the end, you get paid, basically your money back plus some. And then your name is going to be on the HUD so that you'll have a HUD that you'll be able to take and go do your next flip by yourself and get your own financing. So I've already
Right.
done this with a
I think
couple people.
nice, nice. I'd like to interject here for 1 second to say that a lot of people don't realize that once you've done 3 or 4, you're going to get more favorable financing anywhere, whether it's
Yes.
from me, whether it's from April, it's from the bank. They know you've done a few. You can, that you won't fall. It's always the first one that's the hardest. So
Yes.
I think it's fantastic that you have that full experience.
Thank you. Yes. And you can, if you have one, you should be able to get financing, but I'm also going to show you how I raise money. Because everybody, I don't care who you are, you have people out there that have money that want to invest with you. And I'm going to share that in my seminar, how I do that, how we tap into money. I think they were saying the other day, it was like $305 trillion sitting in IRAs and 401ks. Right? So, I mean,
Right.
tapping into even just that with friends and family and but you can't go to your friends and family if you've never done one before, right? No, nobody's going to give it to you, but like, hey, I already did this. Look, this is how much I made. Like, you want to get in with me on the next one? And you're doing them a service, right? Because this
Oh,
is the one thing that I
absolutely.
love about flipping is that the lenders make money, the contractors make money, the agents make money, the photographers make money, the everybody makes money, right? Everybody walks away. And so for the most part, I do a lot of private money because I love to like help people make money on their money. So many people have 401ks that are sitting in the market. It's like if you look at it, it'll say on average you'll make 9% in the market, right? But that's if you had your money in for like 50 years without ever taking it out. The
Mm,
average investor only has the stomach to keep it in aggressively to get that 9%. So actually, it's only like 3%, which doesn't even beat inflation, right? So this
right.
is like such a great way. My dad, in the last 5 years, between me and me helping him invest with other people, has doubled his retirement income in 5 years.
Oh,
I
I
know.
love it.
He
I
was like, I
love it.
can't believe this. What if I had been doing this forever? I was like, don't say that. You're doing it now. Like, that's all you
April,
need,
that is
right?
so freaking awesome.
I know.
For most people your dad's age,
Yeah.
they really just want to figure out how to get to the end and possibly leave something for you
Yeah.
or the grandbabies, and you are helping him double his retirement. I mean, that is I you know what? I don't need a daughter like you, but that's the kind of daughter I want. And
Yeah.
the reason I say don't need it is because I'm doing it for myself. But
Yes.
that's awesome. That is really, really awesome.
Yeah. Thank
Wow.
you.
Wow. So fantastic. You absolutely must drop either in the private chat or in the where can people come to find out when your next one will be? We want to not only increase your numbers in YouTube. Dang, I think I'm going to be coming to one of these.
You definitely should. So my next one is going to be on it's the weekend of February 28th. So we start with a mixer. And listen, I only accept 10 people at a time. So this is like very like one-on-one. There's not going to be 50 people in the room. It's going to be diving in, digging in, getting to know each other. So it's going to be February 28th starts with a mixer on Friday night. Saturday, we spend the day in the classroom, and that's March the 1st. And then Sunday, we will be out in the field. And again, here's the event right now. We're working on a
And
landing page,
and
but for right now we're using Eventbrite. But the first flip does need to be in Jacksonville just because that's where my resources are and that's where my private money is. But You really can do, I do pretty much everything virtually, even just sitting here in Jacksonville at home, right? Because I have all the resources and all the boots on the ground that goes out there for me. They're my eyes and my ears for me. And so I can even show you how to do that. So Effie, like you could do a virtual flip somewhere wherever your market is. I can, I show people how to find the right contractors, find the boots on the ground, find the people that can, get over to your flip if you need something, just to keep your eyes and your ears on it. So this could even be something that you're doing virtually. But you do need, it is an in-person
Absolutely.
seminar.
Yeah. You happen to choose the same weekend as Abraham and Alexis are
I know, I
giving
did. Yeah.
their
But
private
mine's only
money.
10 people. So, and I did, it's
That's
like
okay.
I didn't
I've
know
already
when
got
they were
my
doing theirs.
tickets. I already got booked my hotel with Abraham. But
Yeah, and you know what? I'll be doing this
Jeremy
again.
says the same thing. Okay,
Yeah,
Jeremiah,
that's
I
funny.
think that we're at the same PML mastermind, buddy.
That's great.
But what I think is important is that April keep us, now that she's got a YouTube channel up there or whatever in sub 2, keep us. You should go back and take a look. Who says they want to come? I want to come. Jeremiah says he wants to come. Keep us in the
Yes.
list for the next one.
And Jeremiah, it's in Jacksonville, Florida.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Nice.
didn't see that they were having theirs until after. But again, mine's only 10 people, so I'm not, looking to get 500 people at mine. It's a very intimate seminar, and I definitely will be doing it again.
Good.
And
Good.
you can't always like get every weekend
No,
in
no,
sync
you
with
can't.
everybody.
No, no, I agree.
Because
But
it's
as soon
squad
as she
ups at
said
the
that,
end of March,
the
and
end of February, I was like,
Are you
uh-oh,
going to
let me
squad
check.
up?
I am going to squad up.
Okay, me too.
So I'll meet you there for sure.
Great.
And just FYI, I'm a hugger.
Oh, me too. Yeah, totally. I will hug you for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think at this moment, oh, Mary says, you got to take these names, man,
I know. I got to take a picture.
for the next time. For the
Yeah.
next time. I think
Yeah,
that's
and you can
absolutely
also follow
fantastic.
me on the socials, and I post a lot about it up there.
Mhm.
So
Oh, Jeremiah, you're in Charleston. My market is Charlotte. So that's good to know. And Ralph's going to be at Squad Up. Okay, Ralph,
yes.
all I can say is with you, it won't be a hug. It's going to be more like a football tackle. I'm going to go from below the knees.
Knock them out.
Yeah, knock him out. He's done so much that is coming, so to speak. But I'll try to hug. But anyhow, guys, I'd like to say thank you very, very much for coming with us and joining us today. And I want to say, April, thank you so, so much. I feel like I could go on for quite a long time, but I'm also driven by the clock.
Yes, thank you. I have to go
All
make
right.
dinner.
Hang
It's almost 5
tight.
o'clock.
I want to chat with you for 1 second. Okay, April? Don't go
Okay.
away after the outro.
Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
guys. Thank you. See you next week.